quick. I'm actually down at the Fast Start Summit with Tom Wall here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I just got done speaking yesterday. Really just amazing. Before I get into anything else, this event is amazing. It's down here at the Fort Lauderdale Marina Hilton. You can see this massive yacht. This was actually Steven Spielberg's yacht, but that's not the point of this video. Amazing stuff. This place is just beautiful. This event is amazing. The people at this event are amazing. If you are looking to learn and grow in this business, I think coming down to an event like this and investing in yourself and your business is absolutely essential. So shout out to Tom Wall and everything's going on. Now that said, that's a great transition point for me because Tom just did a kind of a live debate that was moderated by Caleb Williams and Better Wealth. And in that debate, there was a great conversation overall. I think it was over an hour conversation. They had a deep dive on a lot of different things regarding IUL versus whole life, how IUL should be used, how whole life should be used, different perspectives, different opinions, different ways of kind of navigating in this space and how to leverage these in insurance policies to solve different problems in people's lives. Now, I don't think it's a surprise if you watch my channel, if you watch David McKnight, you know that we're on different sides of the aisle as far as the conversation goes and how to utilize these products. Tom and I are very much aligned, when they had that conversation. But here's the thing, I have a real challenge going on right now. I've been trying to have a debate, a live debate going with some of the biggest IUL influencers, thought leaders, or whatever in the industry. For me, I think it's really important to have this conversation and have an open dialogue across the industry. I think we have a responsibility. Now, if I go back and I think about how this feud, I'll call it for lack of better words, was started between me and David McKnight, he was off my radar. I want to make this really clear because I think I'm getting a reputation for being this hardcore IUL hater and just kind of blasting people. Nothing could be further from the truth. I'm all about education. I've got my new book, IUL Exposed, The Truth About the Most Misrepresented Product in Financial History, coming out. That said, I do believe IUL has its place. I just don't believe it's ever for tax-free income and retirement in the way that it's being sold. And so therefore, I position it as a misrepresented product, not an evil product. I think the problem is there's a lack of education. I think it's a top-down problem. I used to work for one of the top IUL companies in the country, and I think it's misrepresented because of the fact from a top-down perspective, their training is designed to only focus on certain elements. Their training is designed to only focus on the upside, quote unquote, in a vacuum if everything goes perfect according to current assumptions, and it doesn't talk about where the dangers could lie, where things could go off the tracks, how things could go wrong, and stuff of that nature. And so the reality is, when we really unpack it and look deeply and authentically and transparently about how a tax-free retirement, I know, right? We look at how IUL has actually performed over the years historically, then it becomes a completely different story. And especially when you compare the actual performance to how it's being sold, to how it's being positioned. And therein lies the problem. There are no good or bad products, there are just bad interpretations fits for what you actually need. So Ben, I'll get to that at the end here. Ben Romo about infinite banking. I'll cover that at the end. Here's what I want to do. David called me out, and I think this is what happened. I did a video, or I didn't do a video. David did a video on me because of a video that I did talking about IUL. He did a video on me because I think that video was causing some problems for some of the people that worked with him. His video on me was like a 15-minute video, and honestly, I viewed it as a bit of a hit piece on me. And so he called me an influencer on the prowl. He made all these insinuations that really positioned me as this predatory kind of personality in this space, and it was really offensive, quite frankly. And so one of the things that I'm having issue with at this point in time is the fact David is going on these interviews and he's having conversations with people and he's saying, I just want to have these high-level conversations. I want to have respectful dialogue. And all the while, he started this dynamic with me, and I had never made any video, any content on him ever before. And he started the relationship with me by calling me a predator on the prowl, basically, an influencer on the prowl, looking to take advantage and mislead people. Like, that was the start to this whole dialogue. And then, after doing that, he wants to just go run and hide, basically. He's like, nope, I don't want to have a conversation with you. There's nothing in it for me. I'm not going to do it. You know, I'll go talk to other people because they're going to have respectful dialogue and they're going to all this stuff. Here's what I want to say is, like, I am not some IUL hater. I'm not a bad guy. I don't want to rip people apart. I don't want to insult people. Listen, if I were to get on a conversation with David and just insult him and demean him and call him names or be rude or cut him off or like not let him get his point across or like anything of that nature, I'd be the one who looked like the a-hole in that. I would come off looking like a jerk, right? And so what I think is happening, well, I don't know what's happening, honestly. I think probably he's just trying to hide behind that because he knows that by talking to me, I'm going to hold a certain level of standard as far as transparency and authenticity behind these conversations. I just believe that he's an influencer, he's a thought leader. He's written books, he teaches agents. I'm an influencer, I'm a thought leader, I've written books, I teach agents. I've got an agency with over 1,000 agents in our organization. We do this on a really big level. Training agents, serving people, educating people about how life insurance can work as a foundational asset in their life is one of my favorite things in this world to do. And I know if you were to talk to David, he believes emphatically in what he believes in. Now, I believe that I don't care about what's in it for me or what's not. Obviously, like there's a chance, although I don't think this is gonna happen, but there's a chance that I would have a conversation with David and he makes me look like an idiot, right? And so if I didn't believe so emphatically in what I believe in, well then obviously I'd be scared to have that open dialogue with him because it would expose me, so to speak. It would leave me out to dry and totally exposed, and maybe my brand and my sales and my recruiting and all the things that I do would be in danger, right? And I'm not worried about that because I don't care about any of that. I mean, I care, but I think all that kind of takes care of itself if we're just authentic and real and we speak the truth. And what I believe is that the truth is on my side. History is on my side. And I have plenty of math and facts and data to back that up. And I can navigate this conversation comfortably. I don't, if you've ever watched my videos, I'm not a big scripted guy. I like to come off the cuff, and I like to just go into things authentically and just show up in an authentic way to be able to serve people. So what I would say is this. When David made this video of me, I got engaged in a conversation. Now, things, granted, I'll admit, got a little bit heated in the dialogue and the conversations, but a couple things happened in that conversation that really bothered me, and it bothered me on a lot of levels. First thing that happened is he said he doesn't want to debate me because there's not really much in it for him. There's not, actually, he said, I think his words were, there's nothing in it for me. And I take issue with that philosophy. My mindset is I don't care what's in it for me. I care about getting this information out there. I care about having transparency and truth about the conversation because there's so many people. I've had hundreds of agents ask, will somebody debate you? We've had hundreds of agents ask in all these videos that have gone back and forth, why don't you guys just debate each other? And I'm like, that's a great question. Why don't we just debate each other? It just makes sense to me. I would think that we could just have an open dialogue. And so that said, I don't care how it has to happen. I just ask for it to be in person because I think there's an energy exchange that happens in person. I think there's an authenticity that I want to be able to bring to the table so people aren't just hiding behind a computer screen and a Zoom monitor. And I realize there's some logistics that go into figuring out how to get everybody together on the same page. But I really would prefer to do this in person. I would, and if need be, let's have a moderator. I think we're like, I don't know, it's me. I feel like we're adults enough that we can have an adult conversation and not need a moderator. But maybe I'm just crazy that expecting to be able to have a professional conversation without a moderator between two experts in a space with differing opinions, because let's face it, like every industry has different opinions. Every industry has people with kind of oppositional views, and isn't this is like what life should be about? Being able to conversate, have disagreements, have different opinions, but be able to dialogue respectfully. I kind of take issue. A lot of people think I'm not respectful. And I would say, like, listen, I'm doing this video because somebody said, Chris, like, I think what happens is people don't know you. They don't know who you are. You know, like, I think somebody said, you're like a pit bull and you got a hold of somebody's neck and you're just not going to let go. It's like, no, that's not the case at all. Like, I'm passionate. There's no doubt. Like, I'm passionate about what I believe. I'm passionate about why I am the way I am about IUL. And I also believe that if people knew what I knew, they wouldn't be selling IUL. That's one of the reasons I have my new book, IUL Exposed, coming out, the truth about the most misrepresented product in financial history. That is my gift to the industry. I wanted to create that book so all people who are looking to put their financial livelihood into potentially an index universal life insurance policy, so all of those people could be able to have a 200-page book full of information, taking this complicated product that's being sold as a simplistic solution to all your financial problems. I wanted to be able to make it so they could just go and dissect it and read it and educate themselves on every component of the product so they can make their own independent decision without being sold, without having to sit across from a salesperson or get a pitch about what it is. And listen, I don't know if it's going to be the right thing for them or not, but I think whether people decide to go with an IUL or whole life or none of the above and just get a term policy, that's totally should be a decision that's made from an educated platform. And I feel like people are putting so much money into these products, and it's your financial livelihood, and you're depending on these things to perform a certain way to be able to achieve the results in your life that you're looking to achieve. I think that we as advisors need to stop marketing, stop selling, and just focus on educating and empowering people and helping people align their money with their values and beliefs. And that is it. That is it. I believe so much in that concept, in how we show up for people and how we can help people grow as people first. That's why, like, it's products. I got news for you. Products, whether it's IUL or whole life or stocks, bonds, investments, real estate, there are no products in the world that are going to solve your problems. You growing, you becoming who you are, that is the foundational element to your success, period. And my challenge is with IUL, one of the conversations is this product is just going to solve all your problems. And I know this is going a little kind of like sideways, but this is the thing. I never had a problem with David. I thought on the scale of IUL agents, David was one of the better ones, meaning he wasn't, he's not as misrepresentative of it. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to debate David, because I think that David and I are going to agree on more than we disagree on. I think we are absolutely going to disagree on some things, and that those things that we disagree on are going to be pivotal in the conversation. They're going to be big tipping points towards one direction or the other. What I can't stand about marketing online, and don't get me wrong, I love marketing. I'm a YouTube, creator. I love funnel marketing. I love all of it. Like, quite frankly, I do love that. But I do believe that we need just education and transparency, and it needs to be done authentically. And a lot of these videos out there, it's one of the reasons if you watch my videos, they're all super long, and people are like, can you make a shorter video? I'm like, I don't really have it in me to make a shorter video, because I believe we need to do deeper dive educational topics. These 8-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute things where we try to take, and to make it worse, 90-second reels, TikTok videos, Instagram reels, where people are like positioning, whether it's whole life or IUL, as these products that do these things. There's no way you can convey all the things it does in a short window of time. So there's too much marketing, too much clickbait, too much half-truths being told in this space. We got to be careful about that. And that's why I think having a debate, having a dialogue hell, let's not even call it a debate. Let's have an open forum conversation around this, right? I'm sure it will turn into a debate to a certain level. It can be a respectful debate. It can be a dialogue that I think two human beings, as experts in their space with conviction and belief, cut down in half. Now, if we don't agree, I think that's also an opportunity to hold each other accountable, to ask critical questions of each other, to get to have the ability to defend your position and stance across the table from an expert. It's either going to expose you or it's going to solidify your opinion. It's going to solidify your stance. It's going to solidify your position in the industry amongst people who are looking to buy from you, learn from you, get trained by you, do whatever. To me, I think going into a conversation like this, I don't know how it would turn out. I don't know what people's perspectives or interpretation of that conversation would be. And quite frankly, I don't care. All I care about is having open, honest, authentic dialogue and seeing how it goes from there. David McKnight, once again, I didn't pick this fight with you. You picked it with me. You created the first video on me. You called me an influencer on the prowl, which, whatever, I get you're trying to create hype, but you position me without knowing my character, without ever having a conversation with me. You position me as a predator. You position me as somebody who is creating all this content that I had no idea that it was just, and then you went through the video and you took a lot of the things out of context. You know what you did to me, David McKnight? You did to me what CNN does to Trump every single day. You did to me where you took one little clip out of a big, long, contextual process with a lot of background and context that need to be understood to do it, and you took those little pieces and you CNN my ass. Like, that's not cool, bro. That's not cool. And so all I'm asking is, let's have a conversation. Now, I understand my personality, I'm bold, I'm intense, I'm convicted, I believe in what I believe, but I can be respectful, right? Like, I ask anybody that knows me and they will tell you I am one of the most respectful people. I believe in giving people opportunity to speak. I enjoy a good intellectual conversation around this kind of stuff. And quite frankly, there are not enough people that are willing to be bold and step out and do the right thing. I call you to action, David McKnight, and any, like Doug Andrew, Curtis Ray, any of these people, I call you to action. If you're going to stand on a platform and then you're going to throw swings and blows and insults and call people out, what does that say if you're not willing to step up and have that conversation on a live platform? What does that say? It makes the entire industry look bad. Now, a lot of people will say, I make the industry look bad. I'm just gonna call the elephant out in the room here. A lot of people will say, that are IUL agents, probably yourself included, David, that you'll say, I make the industry look bad because of the fact that I'm pitting whole life against IUL, and it's just creating infighting in the industry when we should just focus on these things. Well, I do what I do not because I'm trying to create a fight with you or any other IUL agent. I do what I do because I believe so much in what I do. I believe so much in the fact that I believe people are getting hurt. And I believe that people should never put money into anything they don't understand. And based on my position as the former director of business development for one of the top IUL companies in the country, and knowing how, as a director of business development, the company teaches us as leaders to train the field, and how that information is actually half-baked and only half-truths, well, I just believe that if you go back to my content and saw how I started it back in 2016, I created all that content really just to be somebody that would create information that I wish I had had a long time ago, right? That's really all it comes down to. I share the information that I wish I had had shared with me during my first 4.5 years in the business, because it would have saved me 4.5 years of my life. It would have saved me a lot of relationships. It would have saved me a lot of pain. It would have saved a lot of my clients that I sold IUL a lot of money and surrender charges and all these different things, you know? And so we both, there's no doubt, we both have wildly different beliefs and opinions on how this, what the solution is with cash value life insurance. And while we both believe that, you and I, David, I know, agree on probably 90 to 95% of the things that each other say. And so what I hope for is that we could get together and we have an honest, open, authentic, transparent dialogue where we can come together and we can disagree. We can find a lot of common ground. And let's figure out how we can help agents, how we can actually increase education. And if we leave that conversation even more in opposition and more in disagreement, I don't have to agree with you wholly, but I think we can have respect for each other in a way that most people can't. I would like to think you're a big enough person, that I'm a big enough person, that we can go and do that. We don't have to be best friends. We don't have to really like each other. But I respect what you do. I respect 90% of what you do and how you stand out, how you call out people, like the gurus, right? Like your new Guru Gap book. I think like what you do with that is amazing. Calling out the Dave Ramseys and those peoples of the world, right? Like I think that kind of work is important, but I would encourage, that's what I'm doing. I really want to share this perspective in a sense that, and I know it kind of sucks probably for IUL agents, but that's all I'm doing. I'm trying to expose, in a way, the agents that are misrepresenting IUL. And my ask is that if you're going to have a position, be willing to have an open, authentic conversation. And the part that bugs me and my call to action, if you're going to pick fights, be willing to stand up and defend your fights. Be willing to get out there and have an open dialogue and conversation. Otherwise, take videos down, back off from the fight, admit you were wrong, or stand up and defend it. That's just what I feel like. If you are taking a position as a leader in an industry, that's a responsibility. And I look at my responsibility as a whole life defender coming from the IUL space and somebody who's a whole life advocate and somebody who believes in it. I don't bash on IUL because I love whole life and I'm trying to win sales. I used to be a huge IUL advocate that I went away from, and I realized that it wasn't in alignment with my values and my beliefs, and I realized whole life insurance was, and so all I try to do is share that message. And because of the fact that there's so much noise on the IUL space, and I'll say that there's 30 IUL agents for every one whole life agent. I don't know that number statistically, but based on my background and all the people I talk to, that's kind of the number. So there's so much noise on the IUL space that I gotta just create more noise. That's just the way it is. And when we look at that, I just believe that if I believe what I do, I don't care what's in it for me or what's not. I feel like as a leader in this space, I have a responsibility. So final time, I believe you have a responsibility. I believe I have a responsibility to have this open dialogue. And I really, really think that we're big enough men to come together, have a conversation, have it be unedited, have it be raw, because that's what everybody's asking for. That's what everybody's asking for. And I don't know, call me crazy. I just want to serve this industry and give people transparency and answers to their questions. Even if there are some areas where I come off looking bad, I'm willing to take that risk because I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in the principles. It's not even about the product, it's the principles in which I believe behind why and how I do what I do, and why I want to coach people to kind of do the same thing. And so that's that. Now, somebody asked me if I believe, and I'm going to end it with that on the David McKnight and call to action thing there. Somebody did ask me, and I try to make sure I engage when I go live on all these questions. Somebody asked me about infinite banking, what I think about infinite banking. I'll say this, I love whole life insurance as a foundational asset in our life. I don't love the way that infinite banking gets marketed in a lot of ways. I would say I believe in about 95% of the components of infinite banking. I believe that a lot of the ways that infinite banking is being positioned and sold is a little bit misrepresentative of how it actually works. I think there's a lot of conversations on infinite banking being able to create positive arbitrage, positive spread with loans, and it's overly simplified, and that's one of the reasons that index universal life agents think you could do infinite banking with IUL when you can't, because it's not about positive arbitrage, it's not about positive spread, it's about a process, It's about a system and principles, and like I don't have the ability to get into all that right now. It'd be a whole another hour. I got to get back into this conference, but I just want to take the time to do this because a lot of people have been asking me. One of the things that I'll say is like one of the reasons I've been really designing cash flow hacking. If you've been following me for any period of time, I have this process called cash flow hacking. Cash flow hacking started off as a way to leverage whole life insurance and real estate investment and create financial freedom in a much more compressed time frame. I'm in the process of rewriting my book right now, and having a lot of good progress with it. On top of the release of the IUL Exposed book, I've got my new cash flow hacking book coming out. And what I'll say to that is, I've got these 5 pillars of cash flow hacking. And the first pillar is personal growth. And the reason that personal growth is a pillar is because I just believe the foundation of anything, if you don't have personal growth as a foundation of everything, well then there's no product that's going to solve your problem. You have to expand. Who you are is the reason that the results in your life are the way they are. I could get you investments that get you 20% returns annualized forever, and it's still not going to get you where you want to go, because unless you grow into the person that can handle that, you're just going to blow it and self-sabotage in some way, shape, or form. The second pillar of cash flow hacking is debt management efficiency. It's all about financial efficiency, right? So how we grow, who we become, personal growth and expansion, that's the first pillar. Second pillar is debt management efficiency. Third pillar is personal savings efficiency. Fourth pillar is investing efficiency and all the different ways that you can improve your efficiency. And then the fifth pillar is ultimately legacy efficiency, legacy planning, estate planning, and all that stuff. And so going through that, it's going to be an amazing book. So be on the lookout for that as that comes out over the next 6 months. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, that way you're notified every time this stuff comes out. Somebody just asked, is PHP a legit life insurance company? PHP is an IMO that is a bunch of hype. They're a recruiting factory, very little education on the product side, a lot of hype, a lot of recruiting, not very education driven on the product side. I will say this, they're not an illegitimate company, they're a legitimate company. It's not people helping Patrick, exactly. Like, it's not that they're illegitimate. What I find is most people get in there because they want to help people and they want to serve people, and they believe in the financial literacy and education mission. But what happens is they get into it and they realize it's not what they thought. And I'll say this, over the past 2 years between WFG, PHP, and PFA, we've recruited probably 1,000 agents from them just through videos with no call to action, whatever, just because of the fact that, and this is not as much about how awesome we are, even though we are awesome, and the training that we offer and the support that we offer is unlike any other IMO in the industry. But I believe in the concept to go slow to go fast. I want to build agents to become who they need to be to serve people at a level. It's not about going out and recruiting a bunch of people to get your first comp bump and get more commission. And it's not about you coming in and making a bunch of sales really quickly. It's about actually coming to the industry because you want to help people and becoming the person you need to be to actually help people. That's what it's about, right? And so that's what I love about what we do. But I will say this, aside from that, because people don't know what we do a lot of times, what happens is we're getting all these people coming to us not because we're amazing, but because those companies are so fractured and broken, and there's such an incongruency with what people are joining compared to what they're actually joining, what they think they're joining versus what they're actually joining. And when they get in, what I find is people that have their own internal compass and self-confidence to kind of stand up for themselves, well then they realize, like, oh my gosh, I joined this company for ABC, but I'm getting X, Y, Z, and it's really not in alignment with what I thought. And maybe there's some things that are okay, but for the most part, there's a big gap. And they start looking, and when they look, they wind up finding us. And we've literally had 1,000 agents make that leap. And so it's really a powerful thing. And I would encourage anybody. I love this business. I think what we do is so important. I think we have the ability to impact and influence lives in a way that I cannot imagine my life having more of an ability to impact so many lives in a way that I believe can truly change the future of their family for generations. I cannot think of a way or a possibility to do that bigger, greater, in more of an impactful way than what I do in this business, right? I believe that in my heart of hearts. But I also know that I had to do the work. I've been doing this for 16 years now. I had to do the work on the front of everything to become who I needed to be able to make that impact. I made all the mistakes. I made all the screw-ups. I did all the things, right? And so that's why I don't criticize people in the sense that, like, listen, we all make mistakes. And the key is just, are you growing? You can't fix mistakes in the past, but you can do the best you can from here forward, right? With new information. So as you learn new stuff, you got to be constantly willing to reevaluate where you are right now, what got you here. What got you where you are right now is not going to get you where you want to go. It's not going to create the results in your life that you want, because if you don't have the results that you're after yet, it means you're not the person you need to be yet. And so identify the gap between where you are, where you want to go, and do the best you can from here forward. Don't let your past failures, your past mistakes, the past lack of knowledge impact what you do from this point forward. Just do the best you can from here forward. So that is it. Hopefully that answers the question. But infinite banking at a foundational level is amazing if it's done in the right ways and you don't get caught up in all the marketing hype around infinite banking. I think that's an important thing to understand. Could you sell life insurance virtually? It's what I do. I sell life insurance virtually. I spend a lot of time in the Dominican Republic. I travel all over the place. I'm in Florida today. I'll be in Texas a couple days from now. I do all of my meetings over Zoom, pretty much. Google Meets, Zoom. Doing it virtually is key. The question is not can you, it's like, who do you need to become to do that? That's the question. And are you willing to do the work to become that person? You doing this business can never be about what's in it for you. Can I do this virtually? I encourage you, when you get into this business, to think about it through the lens of why do I want to be in this business? Do I believe in it so much that I'm doing it for myself? Do I believe in it so much that I feel an obligation to share it with people? And then once you understand why, then it's like, how do I become who I need to become to serve those people? And then how do I get in front of them? How do I connect in an authentic way and communicate with them in a way that will put me on a platform to actually truly make impact, right? That's what it's about. And I think selling virtually is an amazing thing. Like, look at my platform. I believe everybody should have a YouTube channel. I believe everybody should focus on Instagram and having these social media platforms, because of the fact that you putting this content out there in a certain way, right? If you do it the right way and you do it authentically and you do it from a good educational perspective, and you're actually trying to serve people, and it's not about how do I create this video to create marketing to get leads, which is what most people do, but if you truly set it up as just like, I'm trying to add value, I'm trying to add value, I'm trying to add value, you got to become a value creation machine. And if you just go at this from the perspective of, I just want to add more value to the world than I'm extracting from it, then it'll all work out. When will it work out? I don't know. How long will it take for you? I don't know. It depends on you. It depends on how fast you grow. It depends on how fast you expand. It depends on your ability to take these concepts and learn them. One of the best ways to learn them is to teach them, right? Like, get on content, start filming yourself. One of the best ways to learn is to teach, and that's it. That's one of the reasons I love creating. People ask me how I know so many things about so many things in this business, because I've made 1,600 videos on my YouTube channel. And in that, my YouTube channel is my accountability partner, right? The fact that I'm not gonna put something out there that I can't stand behind, right? Because it'll make me look bad if I do that. That is important to me. So what I'm doing is I put that out there, I partner with people, I collaborate, I interview. If I don't know something, I bring experts on, and then I learn it, and then I have resources. And even if I don't have all the answers, I have the people that have the answers, and I've built my network community. I've built my own personal experience and my personal repertoire of information in ways that I'm able to serve people. But I'm a big believer in the concept who, not how. And I know that I can't do everything for everybody, but I have a network of of people that can actually do it for people as well, that are in alignment with my values, my beliefs, the way that I want to serve people, people that I've learned from, and that's it. So I encourage everybody to do the same thing. Go out, but be willing to go slow to go fast. Be willing to do the work, be willing to get mentored, be willing to do the hard work, because nothing in this life worth doing is easy. And so I really encourage you just to go from there. So that is it for this video, guys. Hopefully we get some response. Guys, share this with David, get this out there, connect with him. I want him to see this message, because I really just want to have a conversation. It's not like, I don't want to fight with him anymore. I'm tired of the back and forth videos, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop those videos until we have this conversation. And because I didn't start the fight. So we can either have the fight continue, or we can have a mature dialogue. You know, and if we need a moderator there, let's just get a moderator. It's fine. I'm cool with that. But please share this with him. Share it with if you got an influencer in the IUL space that you think needs to see this. I just take David McKnight's name and replace it with them and be like, all right, let's have this dialogue. Let's just do it. Okay? All right. Have a blessed, inspirational day, guys. We'll talk soon. See ya. Whoa. I cannot see.